Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We're really pleased you obviously could be joining us today. And today we're going to be speaking to you about Revit MEP model coordination. My name is Michael Bredenkamp, and I'm the Strategic Account Manager for Modern Infrastructure in the construction and MEP space, and I'll be co-hosting your session today. Over the next few weeks, we'll be also running a series of other webinars based on the MEP industry discipline, where we will incorporate different workflows, processes, including how to collaborate using BIM, and a few other masterclasses where we'll be going deep into the advanced workflows and capabilities of MEP as well as fabrication workflows. You will be able to go to our website to access all the great webinars that we have been running and that we will be also running in the future, so please check it out. I'll also be posting the link in the Q&A field shortly for you to get access to those. This webinar is going to be recorded. It will also be sent to you in the next day or so, so please keep a lookout for that, where we're going to be recapping on what we've covered today. And if you'd like to share it with any of your colleagues who weren't able to attend, please feel free to do so. You'll also be able to go to our website or YouTube channel where all the recordings will be hosted, and I will also post that link in the Q&A section. If you do have any questions for Dino during this webinar or for myself, please post your question in the Q&A box, and we'll basically assist you with the answer during the presentation or at the end in the Q&A session. And obviously for everybody who's now joining us, let's get started. So let me introduce you to today's presenter, Dino. Dino is one of Modern Infrastructure application engineers whose specialized skills are in mechanical and wet services engineering. He's one of our in-house project management, BIM management, and asset specialists, and his product skills include Revit, AutoCAD, Navisworks, and BIM 360, and the newly rebranded Autodesk Construction Cloud Solutions. He says one of his main skills, as everybody knows by now, is he can cook 2-minute noodles in 1 minute 50 seconds. His industry belief is knowledge and application of knowledge equals success. So without any more delays, you've had enough of me. Let me pass you over to Dino. Dino, over to you.
Sorry, guys. It looks like I was muted there. So just to start over again, what we're going to do is this is a second series part of the main 3, and this being now the coordination, which is an add-on to the collaboration set. So just a bit of an introduction from our side, and just so that you see our faces. Katie McKnight is our director at Modern Infrastructure. Michael Bredenkamp is our strategic account manager and advisor. Sako Sambana is our new applications engineer who specializes in HVAC as well as fabrication. And then you guys should know this by now. I'm Dino Kapic. I'm one of Modern's applications engineers and BIM managers. So this is our entire MEP team. So in case you see us on the street, you're always welcome to say hi to us. So just a little bit of a web context, a few things to look out for in terms of coordination between Revit and BIM 360 is that we have a team coordination context. So the reason why we are looking to do online coordination. We are then going to go through our 5 requirement rules when setting up for coordination, when running a clash detection, and of course, when fixing clashes and publishing back to BIM 360. And then once after this is done, we have a little bit of a bonus content for you guys, and then we'll go into our Q&A session. So let's begin with the first, the context. So under the context, when it comes to team coordination, we like to coordinate from one source of truth. And like previously, when it comes to collaboration, it falls under the same one source of truth. So our baseline for our common data environment should be the same for coordination, clash detections, collaboration, field work, and any type of operations from there. So all the data that we do feed into our one repository for all will source for the data for the entire team. And the reason that we do this particular repository is that we have access to our models. So that's all Revit models, Navisworks models, Inventor models, CAD models. These elements can be viewed in this repository. And keep in mind, it is known as BIM 360 docs. Afterwards, our team or designing teams have access to this repository. So instead of just now designing and collaborating with other users, we can now design and coordinate with other users. Which brings me to my next point, is we have now automated clashes in the cloud. So instead of setting up a manual clash like we've done in Navisworks countless times, we allow BIM 360 to automate our clashes. And the only reason it can automate is because of our repository where our information lies. So our clashes fairly looks the same, green against red, when we start doing these clashes. And again, this is for our team coordination. And then this allows us to anticipate problem areas in the model before it even goes to site. So now we have this whole 360 item that is given to our design team. They can design, they can coordinate, and then they can go out to site to check if all is right. When it comes to phase 3, we have an online reporting tool. And this, again, stems all from the one repository. So we have model issue reporting. The moment we find an issue, we can report on it. And the moment we have more than one issue, we can do a specified report on that issue, whether it be clashes or whether it be designing issues. We also are assigning user responsibility now to a clash. So instead of having one guy coordinate clashes upon clashes, we are now letting that become a team project, not an individual project. So as soon as the team can coordinate, the team can claim responsibility on specific elements. And then, of course, with everything in BIM 360, there is a history tracking behind it. Who did what? Who went where? Who viewed this? Who opened that? We have the ability to track that in this particular platform. So let's start with the coordination setup, because I'm sure you guys are bored to hear about the context. Let's show you how we set this up in BIM 360, as well as what are the guidelines that we should be following. So when it comes to these items, there are 5 requirements and rules for a coordination setup. Rule number 1 is users require the following accesses: a Collaborate Pro license. And the reason for this is it's not just for design collaboration, it's also there for model coordination. Model coordination is now a new feature that comes with Collaborate Pro. You'll also require a BIM 360 access. If you have the licenses and don't have the access, you're not going to be able to run any type of coordination. Rule number 2, users need to activate the following services. So these are services that are required to be active within your BIM project, and that is model coordination. So after you've activated document management and design coordination, go activate the model coordination service. In terms of rule number 3, you need a clear coordination folder structure to be set. So that means a structure for your design team, a structure for your coordination team, for your contractors, for your project managers. If that is clear, then finding information in BIM 360 becomes easy. Rule number 4, models need to be present in the project. If the models are not present, then there will be no automated clashes. BIM 360 is always going to look out for the models in those particular folders. If the folders are there and there are no models, there is nothing to clash to. And then finally, the 5th rule, teams should be given access to coordinate. So it's not one person coordinating now, it's the entire team. If your teams have Collaborate Pro licenses, they have access then to model coordination, and they can coordinate, clash, and anticipate problems alongside the leads in the project. When it comes up to coordination setup in BIM 360, especially in one of your projects, there are 5 rules that we need to follow. The first and foremost rule is that all users who have access to BIM 360 are required to have a BIM Collaborate Pro license, as the Collaborate Pro license does allow you to activate the coordination service. When it comes to rule number 2, you'll see that I've already activated the model coordination service within the project. We are utilizing the previous project from our last webinar, this being the webinar Modeler MEP project. Again, this is a project that is live and it continues to grow. And the main reason for that is because we have a design collaboration that allows my Revit users to design their content and save it back and forth between Revit and BIM 360. The model coordination feature this time around will help me detect, clash, and identify problematic areas within that specific model. Moving on to rule number 3, this is also very important, is that you need a clear folder structure in place. This time around, I'm going to be utilizing my team collaboration folder again. And the reason for this is when I open up the file, you'll see it's broken down into 7 sections. The first section is the 0 shared folder, and the next 6 are from the main discipline team folders, from architecture to wet services. When it comes to the 0 shared folder, this will be my point of coordination. And the reason for this is as soon as every single individual from my team packages and consumes a model after they have collaborated, a copy of that specific model is saved under the shared folder content. And with that copy, we can then start coordinating without affecting the process while my team is still collaborating their models. When it comes to rule number 4 now, this is also important. Models need to be present within the folder. So as you can see, when I select an architectural team, there is my first model. The same goes for structural, as well as mechanical, all the way through down to wet services. If there are no models within that specific folder, there will be no clash points to detect within the BIM 360 project. In terms of rule number 5 now, all teams should be given access to the model coordination service. To know if you have model coordination service, by selecting this little figure here, you will be able to see this model coordination service tag. With this tag, you are then able to go run your own clash detection reports against other disciplines on the project. So instead of having one person solely responsible for coordination, we can now give this to all designers who are utilizing the Collaborate Pro license. So that's what happens when we start running a correct coordination setup. Once we have the setup, we can go straight into our clash detection. And this is important because without the setup, we won't be able to run the next phase. So within clash detection, there is also 5 requirements and rules to follow for a good clash detection outcome. And rule number 1 is access model coordination service. And the reason that we need to access model coordination service is without it, you won't be able to run any clash detections. Rule number 2 is that you navigate to the clash table. The clash table is an automated clash point in BIM 360. It's doing the job for you. Rule number 3, select your desired discipline to coordinate. So in your clash table, you'll be able to see different services, and you simply select the one that you want, and it will take you then to that automated clash. Rule number 4 is that view and navigate all necessary clashes. And I can't stress this point enough. It should be necessary clashes. If there are unnecessary clashes, select and then ignore them. And then when it comes to rule number 5, you need to utilize the issue tool to track all clashes. And the reason why we utilize the issues tool is this becomes like a job card in the project. So the moment I see a clash that is somebody else's responsibility, I can issue that to him or her in order to solve that particular clash in the model. So let's take a look at what this looks like live within a project. When we are running clashes within our BIM 360 project, again, there are 5 rules that can be followed. And these 5 are actually fairly simple. The first rule is that you have access to the model coordination service. That's it. The second rule is that you access the clash table. Now, the reason why the clash table is so important is because it breaks down your clashes into two types of colorations, dark orange and light orange. Dark orange represents more clashes. Light orange represents less clashes. So when you are looking at the table of content, you can already see problematic zones appearing within the modeling process. And again, if I hover over this one, which is 3,309 clashes, this is for HVAC and architecture. So now I know that I have a problem with those two team disciplines, and they need to now go sort their issues out. When it comes to rule number 3, you simply have to go select on the desired clash that you want to go run the coordination for. Once you have selected on the desired disciplines that you'd like to coordinate, it will then open up a model view. Within this model view, there are two types of colors to look out for, red and green. The reason why we look out for these two colors is these are identifying clashes within our project. Now, the nice thing about this is you can navigate, zoom in, zoom out, pivot, and look at specific clashes in the model. As well, if you're unclear on what's clashing, you can always select an element and go select the properties of that element. So in this case, I've got a light that is touching a pipe. So with that in mind, I can now go select on the desired clash. Once I have this desired clash, I can then go into rule number 5, which is utilizing the issues functionality within BIM 360. And the reason we do this is we can assign clashes to those who are responsible to close them out. And it is important now. So instead of one individual looking for 10,000 clashes, we have several individuals who have access to model coordination who can run this and now query, am I allowed to move X, Y, and Z? Or are my discipline or consultants moving A, B, and C within the project? And of course, this is all history and can be tracked within the BIM 360 project line. So as you're running clashes in BIM 360, it's good to note that these clashes close out as soon as you fix them. So that brings us now to our next point, is fixing the clashes. So how do we go about fixing it, and how do we follow a set rule or workflow or guideline that makes this just easier? And this is something that we've wanted to show you guys for a while now. And there is 5 requirements and rules for better fixing of a clash. So the first rule is that users access all assigned issues. So as a user, you would need a document management license in order to go select all the issues that are currently under your name or assigned to your user email address. Number 2 is that we adjust all necessary clashes in Revit. Remember, Revit is the authoring tool that we are building our model from, not BIM 360. BIM 360 is just a point to view, critique, comment, markup on specific models. In terms of rule number 3, you need to answer all communication in BIM 360. BIM 360 has open communication between users, especially under the issues. The last thing you want to do is fix a clash, send an email to your consultant, and then expect, I did not get that email. Not with BIM 360. BIM 360, as soon as the issue is assigned, you then communicate via the issue. In terms of rule number 4, once you have answered your communications, once you have adjusted all your clashes in Revit, sync, save, and publish the model from Revit to BIM 360. That way, when we start running coordination again, those little problem areas start disappearing, and our clash table becomes less and less of a dark orange and more of a lighter tone. Remember, if you're seeing a lot of dark in your table of contents within the coordination cycle, then there are problematic zones in your models. Remember, light orange is your friend. Dark orange is what you want to keep away from. In terms of rule number 5, you simply have to rinse and repeat this process. So with 10 clashes that you have to fix today, there might be 25 tomorrow. You simply have to rinse and repeat the first 4 rules, in order for you to update your Revit model correctly to that particular project. So let's take a look at what this looks like on the live project itself. When adjusting and fixing your model according to a clash issue that has been assigned to your name, there are 5 requirements or rules that you can follow to make life a lot easier. And the first and foremost rule is that you as a user will actually need access to something called Issue Management tab within the Document Management service of BIM 360. And if you use the correct filters, you can filter out all coordination clash issues that are under your name. In this case, you'll see that I have 5 issues. But the one issue that I want to focus on is this one at number 1, because there is a due date assigned to it. By the way, with all your issues, you can see if they have linked documents, who the assigning name is, or company, as well as the title of the issue, the subtypes, and the main type. In this case, let's go to issue number 1. And if I select on that issue, you'll see that it expands more. So it still gives me my metadata of type, date, location, but at the same time, it's showing me with a live link of the model this is linked to. So if I go select this, it's going to open it up in BIM 360 for me. It's giving me a description of the clash as well as an image for us to reference to. So with this in mind, I'm going to utilize issue 1 as my point of reference, and I'm going to now go fix my clash. This can only be done in the authoring tool. So this leads us now to rule number 2. And this is that you open up the desired model in Revit. In this case, it is a fire model that I've opened up, and I've linked in the electrical model. Because in my clash itself, it is a recessed light that is going through a pipe. So sticking to rule number 2, once you have opened up the desired model, it's now time to go navigate, find, and isolate the particular area that you would like to go adjust. So if you are finding it difficult to find and navigate specific components that are clashing within Revit, there are different tools to start utilizing in order to help you find these designated points. The one is to always reference back to your model in the cloud to see in which particular area these elements are clashing. The second that you can use in Revit is something called an interference check. With this, you can place 2 components against each other to find out which of them are clashing. In this case, I'm going to run an interference check on piping elements as well as recessed lighting. Once you have run the interference check, you'll see that it gives you a list of elements. Right over here at number 1, when I select, it highlights in my Revit project. And as you can see, this is the exact same one that is sitting on my cloud project. So what I'm going to do is simply close down my report, select one of my elements, and navigate to look. Now, the nice thing about Revit is because this is a fire service element, I can simply select my pipe, move it one side, and of course, it should no longer be clashing with that particular light. Once you have adjusted the clash in Revit, you are now going into rule number 3. Rule number 3 states that you have to go answer all communications in BIM 360. So as I adjust my clash, I run back into BIM 360, I then navigate to my issue, and I go from open and I answer this particular issue. And the reason why I do this is so that those who have assigned the issue can see that I have worked on that particular issue. So in case this might come up in a project meeting, I can say, well, look, I have answered this particular issue. Once issues have been answered within BIM 360, it then leads you up to rule number 4. Rule number 4 states that once you have adjusted all these elements in Revit, it is time for you to synchronize, save, and publish to BIM 360. This is important because when we rerun the clash detection, we do not want to see these same clashes. So once you have published, you then version up your current project in BIM 360, and then that will lessen the amount of clashes the next time your consultants or your team members want to run a clash against you. When it comes to rule number 5 is actually fairly simple. Rinse and repeat. So for the next 2 clashes here, or next 10 clashes or next 50 clashes for this week, I can go adjust those and then follow rules 1 to 4 again. So for those of you who are getting bored, and I do understand, don't worry, I'm living, breathing, and eating BIM 360 and Revit for a while now. It does get a bit stale. So for those of you who want to participate in BIM 360 and are not utilizing Revit, you can actually go into a Navisworks and BIM 360 relationship as well. So for those of you who run coordination from Navisworks, we don't want to leave you out. In actual fact, your job is just as important. And we would like you guys to bring your Navisworks federated model into the BIM 360 aspect. For those of you who are using other 3D tools like AutoCAD 3D, Inventor, and so forth, those items as well can be clashed in BIM 360. And if you don't want to clash them there, clash them in Navisworks and take that report or those findings into BIM 360 as well. So there is a bit of a bonus here, and there is some rules to this bonus content. So 5 rules and requirements for Navisworks and BIM 360 relationships. Number 1, users need access to Navisworks Manage. Remember, Navisworks Manage is the platform where you are running your clash detection. If you are running Freedom or Simulate, you will not be able to run this particular relationship. Again, under number 1, you would need the BIM 360 add-on to Navisworks. By the way, this add-on is absolutely free so long as you own your Navisworks license or are subscribed. And then, of course, you need the BIM 360 desktop connector. The desktop connector is free to use and requires the same sign-in as your BIM 360 account. In terms of rule number 2, you need a coordination folder structure in BIM 360 for your Navisworks file. The reason for this is we would like to keep the federated Navisworks model away from the designing models of Revit, AutoCAD, Inventor. If you can isolate them apart, then it's much easier for you to run coordination. Rule number 3, you need access to all the models. And the access is actually very particular. You need a view and downloading access. So encourage your BIM managers on BIM 360 to give you this access so you can run your coordination from Navisworks. Rule number 4, link models into Navisworks from BIM 360. Yes, you can do that. So as soon as you have a cloud model, whether it is Revit, AutoCAD, Inventor, whatever the case is, you can actually link those or append them into Navisworks utilizing the desktop connector and then creating the model in Navisworks and saving back in BIM 360. Rule number 5, run coordinations in Navisworks. Yes, that is correct. You can run your own clash detection in Navisworks and still drop issues on top of those particular clash items. It can be done, and I'd like to show you with this video. So as a bit of a bonus content, I would like to show you a bit of the workflow that comes with the Navisworks and BIM 360 item. And of course, there are a few setup rules that have to be followed. The one item is that you'll see that users would need the requirements of a Navisworks managed software package, as well as the BIM 360 add-on to Navisworks. And of course, you will also require the desktop connector. The desktop connector is a powerful little program that helps you connect your PC to the cloud. That way you don't have to download information every single time you want to edit it. You can simply open it in your desktop connector, edit it, and it'll automatically sync and save with the cloud model. Now, there are a few little items that come with Navisworks and BIM 360. If you're looking at the Navisworks end, if I go to the BIM 360 issues, which is the BIM 360 add-on, I'm able to go create issues in Navisworks that will then reflect in BIM 360. For example, if I go select issues, you'll see that I'm already in a process of creating one. If I cancel out, you'll see that I have an issue to remove a helicopter. By selecting it, it will then bring me directly to this issue. And all the metadata that was placed in BIM 360 is now reflecting in my Navisworks. With regards to BIM 360 and uploading a Navisworks folder, you'll see that you are able to view the documents as an NWD. If you use an NWF, the document will sit in BIM 360, however, it would not be viewable. So by selecting on the model, you are then able to view your Navisworks federated model. So whatever you set up in Navisworks, such as views and saved views, can be viewed in BIM 360. For example, under my saved views for 3D, I've got several different views that I am able to go select, choose, and of course view the model. For example, if I go select on the structural, it'll then show me all the structural model viewing items. I can go straight to the analytical, and it should show me the analytical model, as well as the basic 3Ds. And if I want, I can always go back to the default 3D item. By the way, if you are utilizing Navisworks and BIM 360, again, the desktop connector is going to help you link in your files. So in this example, you'll see that when I select on my selection tree, you'll see that my coordination model is made up of several different Revit models that I've linked utilizing the desktop connector from my BIM 360 project. In terms of workflows, members who are using Navisworks can still run their own clash detection workflows. And this actually helps improve what is happening in the BIM 360 project. So if you do have a standalone coordinator who doesn't utilize the BIM 360 coordination, they can actually use their clash detection in Navisworks. When you open up a clash, you are still able to utilize the BIM 360 issue, select issues, and of course you can go create an issue right on top of this particular element. So by refreshing, you just need to wait out for the create issues bar. By selecting it, you can actually drop a pinpoint on top of this clash and fill out the issue registry. Remember, once it's done in Navisworks, it will then synchronize to BIM 360, and those who are using BIM 360 will be able to then see those particular issues. So there is a great relationship now that can be done between BIM 360, Navisworks, and of course Revit. And for those of you who are running MEP items, it is best that you try utilize this relationship a lot more. This way you can start anticipating problematic clashes in your project. So guys, that's all I have for you today in terms of Revit MEP and coordination in order to help you guys set out the best possible designs before it even hits the site. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up for any types of questions. And I know as I was talking, there were a bunch of them that came through. So let me start with the one over here. Bertie asked that at the beginning of this webinar, it was stated that we can view several packages like Civil 3D, Revit, Inventor, Navisworks when working in BIM 360. So you are absolutely going to like that. You are able to view Civil 3D files, Revit files, Inventor, Navisworks, any type of Autodesk authoring tool software can be viewed in BIM 360. But that is viewing. In terms of importing, you don't import the drawings. You simply have to just download the drawings from the package, so long as you have that particular permission. In terms of the second question I see here is that can BIM 360 and InfraWorks models work as well? Yes, absolutely. It's actually stated under Autodesk that you need to be running design collaboration in order to run your proper InfraWorks model into what's in BIM 360. And then once it's there, you'll then allow other users to go view that particular model. There was a third question as well by the same person, is that there's a South African content pack yet available in Revit. Yes, there is a South African content pack. It's just a little bit finicky in the sense of it looks like they took the US pack and just rebranded it SA style with the metric measurements instead of imperial measurements. But if you'd like more information in terms of Revit components and family items for SA for essay use, you're more than welcome to contact me and we can go through it together. Michael, do you see any other questions from your side there?
Hey, Dino, look, it's been a great session so far, and I think we'll just wait for a couple more questions to come through. I think I've got a personal one here from someone. Give me a second here. This is from Ger. It says, for clash detection, Dino, when should I use Navisworks and when should I do it in a BIM 360 project?
This is a good question. This has been a debate in our office for a while now. So take it from me, use them both. So the coordination and clash detection in BIM 360 is almost like your spell check in Word, right? You are going to utilize that every so often just to see that your model is running smooth against other models. In terms of the Navisworks clash detection, this is like an editor or a critiquer who's coming in to see and audit your models. So in a perfect project, there should be coordinators utilizing Navisworks. And this is where they will then bring in your projects and really take it through the ring in terms of clash detection and coordination. Because from there, they can set up their own reporting and tools and backtrack to the project managers and tell them what exactly is going on within the project. I hope that answers the question.
That's explanation, Dino. I think everyone agrees you answered that spot on.
All right, perfect. I got a question here from Amanda. It says, right here, can I run clash detection and issues in Navisworks Simulate and Freedom? So unfortunately, Amanda, you won't be able to run it in Simulate or Freedom, as that specific feature doesn't come with that particular brand of Navisworks. The Navisworks that you want to be running clash detections from is called Navisworks Manage. And for those of you guys who are interested in the Navisworks product line, we do offer training here. I think it's about a 2-day course, and you can definitely chat to Michael about
it. Yeah, I think with regards to any type of implementation and training around the BIM 360 products or the Autodesk Construction Cloud, I think, Dino, everyone's getting a little bit worried about how they implement it and what support do we provide. Well, the good news is, guys, is that right across the packages, we can help and support with the implementations. We do want to make sure that when we do implement these solutions, that it's adopted. Because I think we all understand that sometimes bringing in new technologies and solutions, if you don't have the support and the correct knowledge, it can fail. And that's something we pride ourselves on, is making sure that when you implement these type of solutions, that you have the right support behind you. So if you've got any questions or need any assistance with regards to how to implement these different BIM solutions, as Dino's been explaining over the last few weeks in the series, give us a shout. Let us know. Contact myself or Dino or Katie or Ntako. We can definitely help and assist you and contact you, go through a presentation if need be. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I can't see any more questions on my side. Dina, can you on yours?
I've got one here. It says, how do I access the desktop connector? So for those of you who are running BIM 360, you can download the desktop connector for free from the Autodesk website, or you simply type in Google BIM 360 desktop connector, download, install, and carry on with your work in progress, guys. That's all it is. It's that simple. All right, I don't see any other questions from my side. If you guys missed the opportunity to ask us a question, you're more than welcome to contact us on our support line, or you can contact Michael and myself. We will be posting our email addresses are actually available online, correct, Michael?
Yeah, they are actually online. So, I mean, again, you guys can give us a call if need be, and you guys can get connected to us directly, email. Also, we're on LinkedIn, guys. So if we're not connected on LinkedIn yet, let's connect, and let's also start some discussions on there. Let's get more people, I think, in the Revit and the MEP space, get them more understanding about the cloud collaboration tools. We're a big community, so let's all start helping each other out, I think.
Perfect. All right. With that being said, guys, I just want to say there are things to look out for. So we're almost to the end. In terms of what's next, we've already dealt with our second part of the series. Our third part of the series is going to go a little bit beyond. And this is how we start utilizing BIM 360 Build in terms of checklists, reporting, and asset tracking for our MEP equipment. So if you guys are interested to see how you can take your Revit model into almost an operations point, come join us within this webinar, and we'll show you how you go from collaboration to coordination into build. And with that, guys, thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see you on the next one.
Yes, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great afternoon further, and thanks again. See you soon.
See you soon. Ciao.